there for you. If you want once a month, it's beautiful, honestly. And comment. It's going to be amazing. We'll be doing reviews on well-known lecturers, upcoming spiritual events around the country, newest products, just reviews on the newest products, things that will help you on your spiritual path. I put together this newsletter just to add another layer of information. For those who are interested, the link is there for you to sign up. So I'll lower this music, even though it's super healing, right? So y'all can hear me. Let's do our meditation. I'm going to just thank our ancestors. You don't always have to pour a libation. Sometimes you can just give love. Thank our spirit guides. We're going to thank our higher self. In all these aspects. Gratitude for their assistance in many known and unknown ways that we can perceive in this reality. It's just me playing around, but I think that it's super necessary when that was a good frequency. Sit in this for a little bit. Isn't it really hard to get focused when you're enjoying a meditation like that? So, a couple things I'm actually going to bring up. So beautiful. But I'm going to bring it up here. Because last time when I kept switching back, here we go. Because I have a blog post, the link is there, that I wrote before. So if you guys want to follow along from the blog, just to organize my thoughts before doing this transmission. So secret communication is even deeper than body language. Secret communication entails that you can actually, and are constantly interacting with your environment, interacting with your perceived reality without using words. Now, this is indeed profound. This is something that many of us do on a regular basis, and we just don't realize it. As a child, I had my own experiences with secret communication, and nobody believed me. My family thought I was crazy, and I was like, no, this is real. I spent a lot of time in nature, and I spent a lot of time outdoors, and a lot of time being very creative. And with that being said, I gained the ability to actually speak to tree spirits psychically. So this is something that is within everyone and that we can all do. but we don't realize that we're doing it. And through that experience and running home that day and telling my family, hey, I can do this thing. I don't know what this thing is, but I can do this thing. And these trees were giving me all this information and telling me stories. And I actually had fallen asleep under a tree, and I woke up. And I just knew that the tree had communicated with me through that dream realm, through that meeting place. And I was done after that. I just knew it was real, even though no one believed me. So over the years, that has led me to really think hard into that experience and think about what is the nature of reality? What is the nature of secret communication? And is it something that we can all train ourselves to do? And in the blog, I did use actually government websites, scientific journals, articles. So there are reputable sources. We're going to be going into some science. We'll be going into some metaphysics, and truly all of reality is metaphysics. When we understand, well, I'll get into that in a minute. I'm actually going to go with the structure of the article that I wrote because it'll be the most productive way. I'll put my phone here so I can just read. I felt like I had a burp. And I didn't want to be super rude. Okay. So, even though I came to this conclusion on my own, I also noticed that this is simply, as I went through, my spiritual path and I began growing and learning, I started realizing that this is something that a lot of people were speaking on without realizing that they were really speaking on it. I don't want it to auto lock. How do I not? Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that this doesn't auto lock. Perfect. Because auto lock, never good. Now we can get really busy. Let's do it. Okay. So, as you are a spiritual being in a vehicle, your body is a vehicle. That's why they call it a temple. What does a temple do? It can gather and transmit energy and frequency vibrations. That's what your body does naturally. And it's much more adept at doing this than any physical temple. A temple would be indicative of a fallen state. But our bodies are not fallen, they simply are misused. So when we understand the vehicle that we're in, we can unlock our spiritual gifts and powers. And secret communication is part of that process. Now, there's a number of techniques that you can learn. One is meditation, obviously. Meditation is going to be your foundation and cornerstone for all your spiritual practices. So you can utilize meditation techniques. You have to activate and balance your chakras and practice natural naming. Once your crown chakra is open and your third eye is active, you can start doing some channeling. And then from the channeling and natural naming, you'll learn to feel into energies. And I will explain natural naming, which is a brilliant technique I came up with last summer that really helped me to hone my skills and abilities in a very playful way. But once you start to do natural naming, then you will gain the ability to understand the true essence of the environment around you and the ways in which it is wanting to communicate with you. The communication is not ever in words. Yet, every plant, every particle, every molecule every conscious eminence has the ability to communicate with one another without words. And they may use utterances, but of the mind only. They may use symbols. They may use something that you understand. And you can even have the ability to integrate and lock in your consciousness with these other beings. You have beings all around you, big, small, anything. You know, I heard one time that there's more consciousness in a blade of grass than there is in most people walking around today. And I think that's really sad. And for those who are seeking, I do try my best to give the most accurate, well-researched, well-thought-out work and techniques for your spiritual growth, because I care about you. It isn't about me, it's about we. You know, we have to do this thing together, and if you're really into this and you really want to grow and you really want to heal, then feel free to message me. I'll be more than happy to offer you a service, or if you just need some quick advice, feel free to message me. My inbox is open for that only. So let's move on. So now we're going to get into magnetism. So frequency and vibration are essentially magnetism. So your eyes, your ears are simply mechanisms for perceiving reality. Science now understands that reality does not actually exist in anything more than a frequency or a wave pattern before we perceive it. So sound doesn't sound the way you think it sounds before your ears hear it. And sight doesn't look the way that you think it looks before your eyes perceive it. And then it's almost like reflecting your reality back to you. Well known in psychology, it's in many psychology books as just matter-of-fact information. So it's an interesting thing. It's like the Matrix. It's like the zeros and ones. And there's many aspects to looking behind the veil, and that's why you kind of want an expanded mind. So, because this is, it's like levels. You know what I mean? It's like levels is the best way I can describe it, to where what you choose to perceive, you'll then vibrate on that frequency and you will have the ability to perceive it. But you just simply need to choose. You can't get all caught up in all these extraneous and extra thoughts and, oh, what if I can't do it in this and that, because then that will shut down your ability to perceive. Fear shuts down any spiritual ability that you may be manifesting at this time. So you definitely want to try and stay away from the fear jargon, the fear-based thinking. Fear is going to shut you down every time. Just know, be in knowing. And even when you don't know that you know, but that you just haven't tapped into the frequency and vibration for the answer just yet. So, okay. So on a NASA website, because I am going to be paraphrasing from my blog post because it was that good. So from NASA's website, they explain electrons in this way. Each energy level on an atom has a different shape. There are mathematical equations which will tell you the probability of the electron's location within that orbit. So NASA is actually beginning to describe electrons as an energy field. And I did put this in quotations, being smeared out in an electron cloud surrounding the nucleus. So an atom is simply an energy field, and the model that we have been using is flawed. They use mathematical equations for a location, and where essentially the particle is would be somewhere in this electron cloud, and this location that the mathematical equation will predict. So with that being said, even atoms aren't what we think they are. And what is an electron cloud but an aura? But magnetism, right? And if everything's supposed to be made up of matter, and I think everyone knows now, they've heard it so many times that it's most, then you have to start to question the nature of what you actually think is physical. This hand, I can touch it, I can feel the textures of it, I can see that I have rings on, I can perceive the rings, but this is not a hand. This hand is not really here. I'm simply perceiving this hand, and I'm using it as a tool. And since I have perceived it this way, this is how it looks. And this is how you learn to manipulate your reality, because you realize that I'm perceiving this hand. I appreciate this. I appreciate this creation. It's simple. Something as simple as the vibratory rate that created this hand. I appreciate. And I have gratitude. And practicing gratitude is very important. So, science is obviously using vague terms because they're inching there, but they haven't quite boldly stated that everything is magnetism or energy fields. And when you Google search aura, it says paranormal. But if the body has a magnetic field, then how is an aura paranormal? Okay, so magnetic fields. We're going to get into magnetic fields. All of creation, like I was saying, is made of a magnetic field. So Northwestern University explains magnetic fields like this. They say magnetic fields are produced by moving electric charges. Everything is made up of atoms, and each atom has a nucleus made up of neutrons and protons with electrons that orbit around the nucleus. So this would be just an energy field. Okay, so magnetism and the human body. So as we dive deeper into this, we're going to start understanding, I actually did use part of a summary from David Cohen, who is a lecturer at Dartmouth University School of Engineering. He is a pioneer in this field, and he has dedicated his professional life to the study of magnetism. And it states on the website, biomagnetism is the phenomenon where the magnetic fields are produced by living things, especially by the human body, different from magnetic fields applied to the body, called magnetobiology. So now we're understanding that the body actually is producing its own magnetic field independent of its environment. So if the body is coming in like a light being or a rod and producing a magnetic field independent of its environment, why would it be so difficult to surmise that the body can actually influence and change its own environment? With the consciousness within the body. It's not the body itself. The body would be like a hammer, like a tool. And on different days you may need different tools. But if you look at your body like it's your tool, and you learn how to tune your tool, you learn how to make sure that it's well oiled, make sure that it's running smoothly, make sure that your chakras, your energy centers, everything is running the way that it should be, then your spiritual gifts will open. There's no way around this. So let's go on. So how does this all connect? So now that we understand what atoms are, now that we understand that the body has its own magnetic field, which many would perceive as an aura, how does this connect? What does this have to do with secret language? So, the world around us and our bodies are made up of energy fields. This has been called the morphogenetic field by science. And it's sort of a field in which everything exists. So it's a vibrational field that can be influenced by thought or intention. So you put a thought out into the world and you influence the world around you. and you have been taught that your thoughts are meaningless and that they do not influence the world around you, then in fact you are a prison of your environment, when in fact it is the other way around. The environment is fluid and the living things are co-creating with you. So it's really about being harmonious with your environment in order to bring about what would be the highest vibrational frequency for yourself and the environment. It will bring about the most abundant, joyous, ecstatic, magnetic, just blissful, beautiful life, that life that you really want. Now, what moves thought? There are a number of things that can move thought. Some people are very logical. And so in a logical thought, that's good for structure. But even in being logical, you want to be holistic. So you want to move in a way that you can sort of take a step back and see the whole picture instead of compartmentalizing. Compartmentalizing is good too. You have to know how to do both. Balance, once again. But those thoughts are empty. They're just like reading a textbook. There's nothing, no passion behind them. They're like flat. But what if you have this thought that is a high frequency thought, and then you think about all the possibilities of all the beautiful things that if this thought gets pushed in the world, what it can do. Now you have emotion behind the thought. So you push the thought forward. Maybe with words, you speak the thought. It would be so wonderful if there was more harmony in nature. It would be so wonderful if there was more harmony in my life, in my existence, in my being. And then your brain, your subconscious mind is like, there's harmony in our lives now? Oh, or even if you notice a moment, you may exclaim out loud, wow, this is amazing. I'm having such a great time. How does it feel, and what chemicals are being released and when you're pushing forward the thought with the emotion behind it? Because certain chemicals are released in your brain depending on the emotion that you're feeling, and you actually will become addicted to your emotions. So if you are depressed, you'll become more depressed. If you are happy, you will become more happy, unless you break the cycle and start shifting. So you're going to want to shift your thoughts and use your fuel or your gas, which would be your energy, your emotion. It's the energy of the thought. And then you can push that forward into the world and watch everything shift around you. Just be the observer. Do not expect. When you expect, you create blocks, because it'll come. It always comes. But let it come in an unexpected way. Let the universe surprise you, because that's the nature of play. That's really what this is play. And some parts should be taken seriously, especially when you have a lesson to learn. But other parts need to be treated as what they are, and they're just play. Playing with the universe. In order to become a conscious creator and a liberated being, you want to achieve soul liberation. And the point is to achieve soul liberation, not merely to exist with no purpose, but you want to exist and vibrate and be the star that you always felt you were, but within your own being. Just shine. And so that's my inspirational part to this. So now that you understand the nature of atoms, magnetism, and the way your thoughts operate, we can start to learn about the secret language. And you understand how your body operates too, the mechanisms for perceiving reality. So now we can get on to what the secret language actually is. So, secret communication is possible when you use your intuitive prowess to feel into energies. So, If you are having issues being intuitive, this is why I suggest natural naming. Now, natural naming, you would get into a semi-meditative state. You definitely want to be relaxed. And say you're sitting by a pond and you notice an ant. And you go, ant? I would just do this, honestly. Or maybe I would just stare at it and be like, what is your true name? But you say it only in your mind. And you push that thought and the emotion behind it, the curiosity emotion, forward, and you wait. And as you practice this, you may hear a word, a phrase, you may hear a tone, and you can even just start to move your mouth to get the tone going. So you go, and even if it seems wrong, just go with it, because it's going to teach you to sharpen your intuition, and it'll make that gift stronger. And eventually, the names may come in a symbol, or the names may come in a word or a phrase, and that's how you actually will learn to strengthen your intuition, by using this technique of natural naming. You can touch a tree and ask the tree its personal name, and then wait for the answer. Or if you're having issues being able to wait for the answer, start to go up and down your chakra system. When you do do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I'm a little rusty. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. That's how you tune your chakras, because the scale of 7 actually coincides with the vibrational frequency and sound of your chakras. So you can even do that first. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, my chakras are tuned. And then you can start just and then that one resonates. So do, re, mi, with whatever you're communicating with. Maybe you want to do this alone. You might look a little weird in public, but you're like, oh yeah, that frequency makes sense. So let me see if I can come up with a word from that frequency, and that'll move it a little faster, so to speak. So also too, how you can feel when somebody's about to call you. Maybe you can feel when there's a death in the family. Maybe you can feel when you know that someone's thinking about you. Call them up, hey, were you thinking about me? They're like, yeah, how did you know that? Or, for example, yesterday was my son's birthday. My sister came by and we got him I got him some cupcakes. I thought cupcakes would be easy and fun. And there was a pink cupcake, pink icing with vanilla. And I was like, I know my sister's gonna choose this cupcake. So I'll take the yellow one and I'll give her the pink one. Sure enough, she chose the pink cupcake. How did I know? I wasn't looking at her, so I wasn't reading her body language. I was looking at the candle, trying to light the candle, but it's just, you get a read through the field. And when you start to sharpen and trust your intuition, you can get these reads with more accuracy. And this is how you tune your body so that you have the ability to actually do these things with more ease. So it's very, very important at this time to be balancing our chakra systems, to start to cultivate our personal powers and awaken our gifts. I do chakra reading. If you would like a chakra reading, please message me. It's actually a new service, so that's super fun. If you would like, if you don't want to do the work, do not message me at all, because I will not answer. If you do not want to become empowered, if you do not want to face your demons, If you do not want to heal, please do not contact me. I want nothing to do with you. You are not for me. There is no demon, spell, anything, any energy outside of yourself that is harming you 99% of the time. It is you that is harming you because you have an energy block. The chakra readings help remove the energy blocks, or help. I don't really remove them because I don't do the energy work. We can do visualization techniques and other techniques that I've developed in order to begin to do the work of balancing those chakras back out. But if you are not a self-starter and you're not someone who really wants to heal and really wants to learn how to operate your cosmic body, I'm not the guy for you. Go to somebody else who's going to lie to you and say you have a curse on you when you don't. You are your own curse. I am not the curse breaker. You need to break your own curses. You are cursing yourself. And you are trying to blame everything outside of you for what's going wrong in your life when the issue is you. You are the problem. You are the issue. You are the one that needs to be in charge of your own divine purpose. You must recognize your mistakes. You must seek forgiveness. You must see where you were harmed and how you can forgive the people who harmed you, even if you would never speak to them. You must know why your willpower isn't projecting out what you want into the world. You must understand why the heart can't be opened anymore. Why is there such a block? Why can't you love? Or why do you overlove? What are you trying to compensate for? There's so many questions and nuances when it comes to this. And being that I am a psychology student and that I'm also a spiritual practitioner, I do understand the complexities involved in this type of work. But I do not want someone to contact me who isn't ready to do the inner work. I can read your chakras. I can tell you your divine purpose. I can tell you, where your ancestor realm is, what they're doing up there. I can talk to your ancestors and get guidance. But at the end of the day, it is all you. You need to learn these things for yourself because you want to become better. You want to learn to be your own shaman. You know what I mean? Okay. And so we did natural naming. And so also too, another thing with natural naming, sometimes when you're starting, you really want to learn to just feel into the frequency. You may not want to start naming right away. You really want to learn compassion and respect for the living things, even if, so you're cutting up an apple, you thank the apple. You communicate with the apple, you ask the apple permission to cut it up. And then after it says yes, and you can feel it, the energy in it shifts. That's the most healthiest apple you can eat because it's no longer afraid of whatever's going to happen to it, and they do get fearful. So, and to think that an apple can have emotion is so far-fetched. It's not emotion the way we experience emotion. It's emotion the way an apple experiences it. And people think that's so far-fetched, but I mean, science has proven, I have to actually find the studies on that harmful words will make plants not grow. And loving words make them grow better. And a plant that's about to be cut down or something will actually try and move away from what's going to happen to it. So these things have to be cognizant and sentient on some level. So being more loving and gentle and this natural naming thing is really going to help you tune and awaken a lot of things within you that you never knew were there or possible. I can definitely attest to it based on what I've actually experienced and learned, and I'm very grateful for my existence at this time. Okay. Right, so secret language, frequency and vibration. It's all happening in the flow. You can do it, and your words are creating your reality, so be very careful in the words that you choose. Anyway, love you all infinitely, my solar family, my star sisters. You all take care of yourself and be in harmony. Ashe.